much for jumping on today. I really am excited to have you all back. I know your time is so important. And I want to, keep us all on track and going. So thank you so much for coming. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen with you. 1 second. I always have some sort of like technical something. Here we go. Zoom, share. There we go. Can you see my screen okay? Thumbs up if you can. Yes? All right, perfect. So I want to just say welcome back. If you were here last week, thank you for coming back again. And if it's your first time here, then welcome to the party. And I'm really excited to kick off our session 2 of our United Sprint series here. This is Simplify to Amplify. And today, we're going to talk all about turning the clarity that you gained on your brand in the last session into visibility and how and learning how to amplify you and your message. So if you weren't here last week, quick intro, I am Shaleni Henriquez. I'm a realtor just like you. I'm 12 years in and I'm still kicking and selling homes and problem solving every day, and I still love it. Before we dive in, I actually wanted to tell you this quick story. So on Tuesday, I was on a mastermind call, one that I paid for, and I paid quite a bit of money actually to be a part of it, but I was only half there. I had my inbox open, I had my DMs coming in, you know the drill, right? It's like, it's realtor life. And I was half listening and I was half working. And I even started thinking to myself, oh, okay, cool. Like I'm just going to watch the replay later. But then I caught my thought, because you know that saying, like, if you always do what you've always done, you'll always get what you've always got, right? So right there and then I made a conscious decision to show up. I closed the tabs, I shut off the distractions, and I actually did the exercises live on the call. And because of that, I walked away with a framework that I'm already using in my business, and that I know the more that I use it, the better I'm going to get at it. And I know that it's going to have a big impact on how I communicate going forward. And I want that for you too. So what I thought in that moment was like, the momentum is in the moment. And what does that mean? It means that the clarity, the idea, the shift that you've been waiting for, it doesn't live in your inbox, and it doesn't live in your notes app, and it doesn't live in your text messages. It lives right here in this room. So momentum doesn't come from watching later. It comes from engaging now, from doing the exercises, from sharing a thought, and from participating, even if you feel scared. That's how you build real confidence and real visibility. So I want to gently challenge you today to put away your distractions, to show up fully, and like, let's do the work while we're here together, because that breakthrough that you're waiting for, it might happen today. I don't know, right? It might happen, but only if you're really here for it. So with that said, I'm pumped to get started. If you can turn on your cameras, turn them on. So I would love to see you. If you can, I totally get it. But it's nice to see your beautiful faces. But let's get going. So gonna take a quick minute just to go over what we covered in day 1. So we started by clearing our tech clutter and looking at like what you were actually paying for, and what's essential and what was just noise. And that audit was like a big first step to making your business feel lighter and clearer. And then we moved into brand clarity. We did our coat of arms to pull out the pieces that make up your voice, your values, your energy, and your uniqueness. And finally, we got inside the mind of what our dream client, like what they're Googling, what they're scared of, what they're feeling. Did anybody who did the homework like have something come up? Maybe like you had a light bulb moment, or like there was a block or something, or that you didn't expect, or did anyone realize they were like paying for something they didn't even use? If you did, just like drop a 1 in the chat. Whoops, did I lose my screen? Can you still see my screen? Hold on, I think I messed it up. Sorry. Hold on one second. Presenter view. Always something. We good? Are we back? Yes or no? I can't see the chat. Ashley, are we good? No?
No, we can't see your screen.
You can't see it?
No.
I don't know what happened there. Hold on. Let's try this again. Sorry, guys. Share, present. What the heck?
We can see your whole screen now.
Are we good now?
There. Got
Okay,
it.
thank you. Oh my gosh. I will not click that again. That was bad. All right. Okay, sorry. So we went over all of these things, and now we're moving on to day 2. So today is all just about getting seen in a way that feels real, doable, and not like a second full-time job. We're going to walk through a simple system that I call Flow. It's a weekly content structure that will help you stay consistent, build visibility, and actually enjoy showing up online again. And we're also going to talk about some tips to help you feel more confident on camera, because that is something that seems to come up a lot for people. They just don't feel like they like how they look, or they don't want to be on camera. So I've got some super simple tools to improve your video quality as well without needing to become a tech expert, and ways to amplify your content through repurposing and collaboration, so you're not starting from scratch every week. So does that sound good? I hope so. So let's get into it. Okay, so Flow. There's my friend that just popped up there. Okay, let's talk about it. To set expectations, I am not going to give you a rigid schedule or tell you how many times a week you have to post. If you were here for that, then I'm not going to do it, because I'll be honest, and I'm sure you've done the same thing. Like, I've downloaded someone else's content calendar at some point, and then I never looked at it again. And instead, what I want to give you is like a flexible structure that you can return to whenever you feel stuck. It's a way to create content that feels like you, that ties into your brand, and that actually helps you stay visible consistently. So now, why do I call it Flow? So the term flow, or being in flow, comes from a psychologist named, I'm going to totally butcher his name, okay? His name is Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Okay, that's how I'm pronouncing it, if you know the proper way to say it. I listened to some podcasts with his name, but that's the way I'm going to say it. I'm quite sure I butchered it. I'm sorry to him. Anyway, he studied what he called optimal experiences, or those moments when you're immersed in doing when everything just clicks and you feel in flow, if you've heard that term before. Flow can be achieved as it's either a physical or a mental task if it's meaningful to you, if you feel challenged but capable. You're focused and not distracted, and you're just enjoying the process and not the outcome. That's the state he coined being in flow. And I think content creation can feel like that. Not always, but when we stop overthinking and we stop trying to do what everyone else is doing, and just start creating from a place that's true to who we are, then we can be in flow. And just to show you, I've actually been obsessed with flow state since I first heard the concept back in 2017. So I have reminders to myself everywhere. And I even tattooed it on my arm, a version of it, but it says ease and flow. But I'm obsessed with being in that type of state. So, and I want that for you too. So let's take a look at, like talk about how to actually create content without spinning your wheels every week. So this is my flow framework. And this is your content home base. So you can come back to it anytime you feel stuck or you're not sure what to post. So the F is for feature your life. So this is the personal stuff, your behind the scenes, your copy run, your car chats between showings, like, or showing things. Like, it doesn't need to be polished. It just needs to be you. And that's what makes people trust you. And that's what makes them feel connected to you. Do you all know or follow Chelsea Pites? If you do, like, she's incredible. Like, I've followed her for a lot of years, and she's really great on featuring her life in stories. She spends a lot of time in stories, not even so many things on the feed, but you really feel like you can connect with her. And I was even listening to a podcast the other day, and they said like one of her most engaged posts were where she showed like two different Kleenex boxes and was like, "Hey, do you buy the square Kleenexes or like the rectangular Kleenex boxes?" And people went crazy to engage it. It's just like these things that you're like, wait, doesn't have anything to do with with selling real estate, but it's just having people having that connection to you. So that's the F for flow. L is local and lifestyle. And this is where you show your love for your community, for your neighborhood, for the parks, for the best places to get the sweet potato fries or the most incredible mocktails or cocktails or dog parks or whatever is in your brand. And it may not be those things because you have your own unique coat of arms and what the things are that you like to talk about. But if someone's thinking of moving to your area, this is the kind of content that makes them go, okay, like this person really gets it. And if they already live there, it builds that connection and recognition for you. So O is offering real value. Now you all like know even more than you think, right? Like you every time a client texts you with a question, that could be content. Like every time you explain something at a showing, like that can be content. So don't wait for the perfect way to say it. Like I think we're all so obsessed with like crafting the perfect hook and like doing all these things. Like just show up and be helpful. Like we're not trying to go viral. Like we're just trying to, build a personal brand like that what people can like, know, and trust, right? That's like the longevity of this business. So keep a running list of questions that your clients ask. Like that's your content gold mine. And go back to the Reddit, like we talked about last week, or Facebook, or keywords everywhere, or Google autocomplete, like, or Google Trends, and then infuse it with your own experiences and stories. Even if you're new or to real estate and you don't have those maybe client stories, like you've likely had experiences yourself in other service industries that you can infuse into that. So that's I would encourage you, like that's how you can offer value to people, right? And finally, W is for win stories. So these are moments where you get to celebrate a client's home sold, you got an amazing deal for your client, you found an off-market property, or you finally just posted that reel that you've been putting off. Like any of those things are wins, right? Wins aren't always about deals. It can be just about showing up and they're about progress. So let's see like that side of you. It'll inspire people and it reinforces your brand. So we covered flow, that's flow. And let's talk about something that trips up a lot of agents, and that's the idea that you need to be everywhere all the time, just like churning out content to stay relevant. But that mindset will burn you out really fast. And visibility doesn't come from posting a ton and then ghosting, right? It comes from consistency and a clear message. So I was in a branding mastermind like I guess it was back in April, and they gave us this simple challenge. It was to post one story a day for 1 week. So now in this mastermind, it's a lot of copywriters. It's a lot of very introverted people, right? Like they're not and you can be introverted and doesn't mean that you can't show up, right? So it was a challenge people to get out of their comfort zone. And that was it. And it couldn't be like really work related. It was just like something, no real estate tips, no market stats. It was just like pieces of our brand personality from your coat of arms. So for me, like that looked like coffee, camera gear, behind the scenes work days, and my dogs, right? So And by doing that, that very doable change, one story a day, just like making sure you got it in before the end of the day. One day I was like, oh, like I posted something like right at the end of my dogs, right? But my story visibility in that week grew by 172% in that 1 week. So you can see like my stories the week before were like a 588, and my story views increased just in that week, just by one story a day, right? So that's 172%, like people who got to know me more, see me more, and remember me just by showing up as myself. That's like a very incremental, tiny change. So I think sometimes we show you this just to say we get stuck in thinking it has to be big and we have to do these big, bold things and post like 5 times a week and all of these things. But it's your unique content cadence. Like make a small shift, and the small shift it makes it easier. You get the reps in, you get the habits in, and it still can have quite an important increase for you. So I want you to ask yourself, what is one small change that you could commit to? And just write it down right now. What is one small change that doesn't take up much, that will help you to build the habit? So just take a moment to think about it. And if you're locked in, share it into the chat, speak it into the world, let everyone hear it, so that everyone here can support you. So I'll give you a moment to do that. I'm going to look at them after because I can't see the chat. And I'm definitely not trying to see the chat again because I'll lose my screen. All right. Now, what we talked about visibility. We talked about a little bit about content cadence. I want to talk about something that makes a lot of realtors freeze up, and this is your showing up on camera. Now, you don't need to love being on video, and you don't need to show up just to show up, right? But the more you show up, the easier it's going to get. I promise you this. So I want you to drop a 1 in the chat if you've ever said any of these things or worse to yourself, okay? I don't like the sound of my voice. What if I look awkward? I'll do B-roll video. I don't want to be in the videos, okay? So like, I don't know. Can we all relate to something here, right? Or worse, right? I've said worse things to myself, I know, but you don't, like I said, you don't need to love it. You just need to show up as you are, because your face, your beautiful face that I can see some of you right now, it builds trust faster than any sold graphic ever will. And like, you don't need to take my word for it. You might be like, who is this girl? Like, why is she telling me this, right? I'm not the only one that thinks that. So people do business with people, not logos. The fastest way to build trust online is to show your face. Like if you know Jasmine Star, she's like, I feel like an OG in like the branding space, right? And she has a great podcast as well. She's like, her content's totally evolved over the years, but like it's show your face, right? You've got to show your face. And you may think to me, well, Shaleni, like Nike, Adidas, Apple, like they are just logos and people trust them. So I am just going to post my sold graphics and my B-roll videos. Like I don't need to show my face. Okay, well, you're right. They are trusted and they don't like, I mean, they have celebrity endorsements, but the key distinction here is they built trust through billions of dollars in repetition on ads, celebrity endorsements, emotional storytelling, and global repetition over decades. We are just looking to connect with people the quickest way possible, and the quickest way for you to do that is by showing your face. I want to show you, like, look at these, any like over any like sold graphic. These are some ladies that are in a content group that I get together with once a week. I have it's a women's networking group called We Rise Collective, and we did a content shoot. Like, look at these beautiful women here that like, and you want to connect with them. It's your face, it's your story, it's your energy. That's your brand, and it's what make people remember you and relate to you. So if you have a choice over like your Canva graphic or your face or your video, I think people will choose this connection time and time again. I hope that makes sense, and I hope that resonated with you. Okay, so now if we got our mind right and we're like, yes, okay, I'm okay, fine, Shaleni, I'm convinced I'm gonna show up a little bit more instead of doing the B-roll. Okay, so how are we gonna get you to have that little extra bit of confidence, right? So shift one, I want you to find the light. Okay, so this is the difference. This is like this morning, okay? So find the light. So the difference between how you look in good lighting versus bad lighting, I think it's like, it's pretty dramatic, right? Find the brightest light source. It's usually the window, face the window. So here is obviously, I turned away from the window. Here I'm facing the window. So you can see already it's going to give you a little bit of a glow up, right? If if you're feeling a certain way. Shift two, so if you're going to speak on camera, this is like a trick that I don't know if I heard it years ago, but like just something that I've always done. And before I start any of my videos, I think of a person who I'm speaking to. Like, who is this for? Like, who do I want this to land with? So, and then I say their name. So obviously this is for Amy, who's feeling stuck, deciding whether to sell this year, right? And then you start to say what you have to say. So when you say like the name and you say like the person who you're speaking to, your brain like relaxes and your tone shifts, and the viewer will feel like you're speaking directly to them. And like you're not going to put the name on your video that you post. You're going to edit that part out, and then you'll just like start from the beginning, like from your hook or from the beginning of your video. But doing that exercise at the beginning, like the reason that it works is it will help you to stop performing and start connecting. So you'll be surprised how much more natural and confident you're going to sound with that one little shift of like saying a name or really having someone in mind before you start to speak to them. Shift three is to film in a place that feels safe. So don't try, you don't have to start filming in a busy cafe or like with your family, like watching you nearby, right? Film in your car. Well, not while you're driving, like while you're parked, or at your home office, or in a quiet room where you can feel relaxed and you can speak freely. Because when you feel physically at ease, your body will relax and you're going to show up more like you. And like these AI images are crazy, right? I asked AI to give me like these photos. There's like, they're crazy. The hands and stuff are wild. Anyways. Okay. So shift four is eye contact. So when you're recording yourself, and if you're using the front facing camera, try not to look at your face. I know it is tempting, but it pulls you out of the moment, and you're going to say, oh, like my hair this, or oh, I've got my makeup that, or something. Instead, look at the lens and imagine that you're talking to someone who, like your person, right? That you're delivering that to, like we just said. That will keep you focused on them. And honestly, it'll help you feel less conscious, like self-conscious, and like more confident. Because the more that you get in your own head, the more nervous and self-critical you're going to become. So when you look at the lens as well, you connect with the audience, like you connect with that person. I'm going to show you the difference. Oops, not there. Okay, so this is, imagine you're scrolling Instagram and then this is the person talking to you, right? They're looking, we see it every day. There's people like they're looking at themselves, right? They're not looking at the lens. This is the difference. If you scroll and like someone is talking to the camera, they're not talking to them, they're not looking at themselves, they're looking at you. And there's something about the eyes like looking at you when you're going through that screen that creates a very it creates a connection because you feel like they're speaking to you. So that's a little shift that you can make, that it will make a big difference in how you connect with people. Okay, so we worked through your fears, right? You feel so good now. You're like, yeah, I'm done. After this, I'm shooting 10 reels, right? Okay, we are feeling more confident. You're gonna do the thing, right? So now let's cover, like I'm just gonna give you a few like not too techy like setup wins that are gonna improve your video quality using what you already have, and that's your phone, okay? So You don't need fancy equipment. I love the fancy equipment. If you want to talk fancy equipment, then you can call me after and I will talk about it all day with you. But I know not everybody is in the fancy equipment space. So we're going to talk about the phone. So some settings you want to do is like take your phone. If you go to camera, I tried to like screen record this for you. You set your phone to 1080p or 4K. 4K, if you have it, it takes up more space storage on your phone. And like when you do upload to a platform like Instagram, it does compress your video. But I have a lot of storage, so I will use 4K, but put it at 1080 if you don't. 30 frames per second. It's going to be great. You're going to use if you have 24 frames, like, so if you have 4K 24, you can use that, or you're going to have 1080 30 frames per second for talking to camera videos. So where you're doing talking head videos. If you're, there's another frames per second that you'll see, it's like 1080 or 4K 60 frames per second. Now, I use that if I'm filming movement. So B-roll, things like if you're filming somebody staging or walking through a space, because you can slow the footage down when you're editing, which isn't something I'm going to on this we're going to go through on this one, but if you have questions, I could always help you with it. But if you ever want to slow that footage down even just a little, if you've seen people walking and their hair just kind of looks bouncy and it's like it's a little bit slower, if you don't have that 60 frames per second and you do it in 30, it looks very choppy. If you've ever seen somebody's slow motion video or like a pan of a house and they tried to slow it and it kind of goes like like it looks like it's cutting up, that's because it's of the frame rate. So this is just a tiny tweak that makes your content look more polished if you can get your frame rates right. Another way to do it, so like that will set it up permanently to be like that. But another way to do it, if you see like the circle here, I see if you just go into your camera app and you tap in the top right corner, you're also able to change it on the fly. So if you, on the last, like the last part where I was showing it to you, we were changing it so it will always show up as like that 1080 30 frames per second for you. On the second one, if you're on the fly and you're like, oh, I want to shoot B-roll now, you can just tap it right in here, okay? And it will switch it for you. But just make, I guess, a little, now you're going to have this conscious like reminder to like look in the corner before, to see what you're doing before you film yourself, okay? And now another little tip here is to turn on your grid lines. Okay, so this help aligns your face with the top third of the screen. So I have my grid lines on. So to do the grid lines, if you actually, I had this on the last one here. Okay, so grid lines is in the same camera app. If you didn't see it, if you go down to composition, to run that through that again. If you go down to composition, you will see grid lines and you'll also see a level. So turn those on. If you don't see it, I can't see the chat. I'm sorry. I'll have to I can answer questions after and go through it with you. But turn the grid lines on, because if you're going to film yourself and you're going to use the front camera, this is like a small but really powerful tip. So use it to line up your eyes in the top third of the screen, not like that, like I'm showing it here, but just a little bit back further, and not like this either. That's too low. There, right there. Okay, it's almost like you have an apple on the top of your head. So leave enough space for like an apple on the top of your head, and the grid lines will be your eyes. That is like the perfect composition for a very nice looking talking head video. All right. Creates more balance, you look more professional. If it's too low or too high, it just doesn't look right, right? Like there's a lot of people that film it like very low and it just doesn't look right. So that's a little tip, a little shift that you can do. Okay, and then I'm going to take a look. I'm going to show you 3 common ways that realtors can shoot their videos and the pros and the cons of each one. So it's like front camera, back camera, and front camera IG app, okay? So this is the front camera. I'm in front of a window. You can you can't see, you'll see the grid lines, but because I just took this out of the video, the people can't see the grid lines when you export the video or you put it up. Only you will see the grid lines, by the way, in case you were wondering. The back camera. Okay, so the front camera is obviously the easiest option when you're starting out. You can see yourself, you can check your framing, you can get comfortable on camera. Just remember, like we said, we're gonna look at the lens, we're not gonna look at ourselves, right? Because we're gonna look into our audience to maintain that connection. So the back camera will give you higher quality video. It's a better resolution. The colors are richer. Like now, if you're filming somebody or somebody's filming you, they should use the back camera, right? If you're filming yourself, the problem with the back camera, why a lot of us, we don't want to use it is because we can't see ourselves, right? If you're at home, there is a way you can mirror your screen so you'd be able to see it on your laptop, right? So you could kind of frame yourself and still get the benefits of using the back camera. But if you like it does take some getting used to. This one I filmed back camera at the 0.5 lens. And if you're wondering what lens do I look at when I'm using the back camera, so like this is the 0.5 lens, like it's the top one. I think I have the 15. I can't even remember which one I have. The 15. I think I have the 15. But if you don't know, just like we're just like put your finger on it, like while you're recording from the back camera, and then you'll know which lens that you need to look at when you're shooting. But the back camera, like it just looks, I mean, it looks better. Like the quality is quite nice. It's a little bit softer, and the colors look a little bit different.
Making sure you can't come in and not being on my phone and saying
Can you hear that? Can you hear the IGs talking? Just very low? Okay. Oh, whoops. Oh my goodness. I'm like all over Butterfingers today. So this was shooting in the Instagram app. So pause. So you can use the Instagram app too, right? There's something about like the quality of the Instagram app. If you then download it and you want to repurpose it later, because we're going to talk about repurposing, it's not as great. It's not as good quality as if you were doing something in your native app, which is why you may not want to do it. And there's something to be said for like shooting something like this and uploading it into your Instagram stories. It kind of can like stop the taps because it stands out and it looks better than like what basically 99% of everybody else is doing, which is just being in the app. That to be said, I still will pop up my Instagram stories, and so I'm just talk direct to story, but like you have options here, right? And it's super easy to upload and to do after. But like those are just 3 options that you have. Like it doesn't always have to be one way. But really the best camera or like the best one for you to use is the one that you're actually going to use and hit record on, right? Consistency over perfection every time. I just wanted to be able to show you some options. So this is like the most important tip ever, okay? Before you even do anything at all, please just clean your lens, right? So carry around a lens wipe or a lens cloth and clean your lens before you film, because like it's so simple, but like so often overlooked. And like if you've got makeup on and you were using your phone and then you filmed yourself, it's just like we've got this like weird like haze all over ourselves, right? So I carry around like some of these cloths. I got them on Amazon, and I have even these little squares. I don't have them around here, like because I'm always trying to clean my glasses too. So it just helps to give your lens a quick wipe. And finally, sound. I won't go too much into sound, but if you're in a quiet space, you're going to have better, it's going to be better. You don't need a fancy mic, but if you have them, you can use your AirPods, or you can use a mic for better quality. I have some that I use, and I'm happy to like share the ones that I have with you. Okay, so now we're just going to talk about ways to grow your visibility. So you're feeling comfortable. We've got some confidence. We've got our camera dialed in. We know what content we're going to post through Flow. So now we're going to talk about collaboration. This is like the shortcut to visibility. So when you team up with others, even informally, you get to share audiences and you can build trust faster and you can reach other communities, right? And it doesn't need to be fancy. Like you can do this on the daily. Like you can shout out your favorite local coffee shop. I'm quite sure they're going to share it, right? Like they love the exposure too. Or you could go and do an interview with a mortgage broker. They would love that, right? Like if you have a mortgage broker, and don't worry if somebody's like, oh, my audience is bigger than theirs, or their audience. Like we're coming from like collaboration, right? Like don't worry about those things. If you have somebody you love and like you like working with them, like just do the collab. Or if you've got a staging expert that you work with and you want, like, these are really easy, quick things that you can do. And like they will be happy for you promoting them, and like they will share too. That's how you're both going to grow. You can co-create, like, so you can have them as a collaborator, like on your post. There's a way that you can do it in Instagram, so that they would share it for you. You could also do it with another realtor in another area or even in your area. Maybe somebody specializes in commercial, or they specialize in vacation properties or things like that. Like, that's just how you can like expand your audience, right? When you tag and support each other, like you both win. And everyone like will share, like everyone kind of benefits from this like shared audience. These are just like some photos of options. Okay. And then the thing is to repurpose, repurpose, repurpose. So I'm like, if you said something smart once, like say it again and post it again, like pull it into an email, reformat it into a carousel, make it into a guide. If it is helpful, it deserves to be seen more than once. Like it's been said, it takes at least 7 to 10 touch points before someone takes action. And in today's digital world, it's probably even more, right? So that's why like some consistency beats intensity over time. So I'd rather you do like that one reel and like a story every day, like, or like a one reel a week, or than just like 5 reels this week and then like nobody sees you for 3 months, right? Like it's like we all kind of, you're like, oh yeah, okay, I'm going to do the thing. And then you do too much. It's like going to the gym, right? You're like, yeah, I'm back at the gym. I'm going to go every day. And then you get so sore and you're like, ugh, like I'm not going for 2 weeks. I don't know. Like, am I the only one that's like lived a life like this before? I'm like, so I'm not doing that. Like that's why I'm like the simplify to amplify, just like these little consistent things are like, I do well. I have a good business. I get a lot of repeat and referral. I stay in my clients' top of mind, and I get business from people off of social media because they see my things. Because that's the other beautiful thing about it, is like it shows up on Google. If you do end up putting your things on YouTube, which I highly encourage you to do, they are Googleable, like, and people can search them in YouTube, and they are evergreen and they last forever. And that's a beautiful thing. So repurpose. And these are just some examples. I do a newsletter with content that I've done. I even put it on my website, or I make a YouTube videos. I do create a guide. I did like a video on decluttering. I was actually just filmed myself decluttering my house, and then I made a guide to decluttering. I said, comment declutter if you want the guide, right? And people wanted the guide. Market updates, anything that you can think of, like repurpose it in different ways, right? I promise no one is tracking your feed like you are, right? People need to hear your message, like I said, multiple times. So before it even registers, if something worked, if something worked for you, like use it again. Oh. Okay. Now, because some of you reached out to me from the last session and wanted more one-on-one help, I did open up some time in my calendar to offer one-on-one sessions. And if you are here today and you are interested in like, you're like, this still feels like overwhelming to you and you want to work one-on-one together, then I'm happy to do that. And I have offered like $100 off, like for United attendees, if that's something that you're interested in. But here's what I want you to really take away from today and remember for today. Visibility beats ability. And you don't need to post 5 times a week. And I really don't think you need any fancy gear either. You don't need to be someone that you're not, or try and keep up with, Sally sells a lot. Like, you just need to be you. People, you just need to show up like you, like who you are, a little more often, right? Content creation isn't about trying to be someone you're not, and it's like the fastest way to burn out if you do that, right? It's just about being visible, and that the people who need your help so that they can find you, and they can work with you, and you can build a long-lasting personal brand. The agents who win online aren't always the loudest. They're the ones who stay, consistent and who show up in a way that feels real. So whether you're starting with like that one story a day, or you're finally just going to get your face on camera, or you're just like, you already hit like your cadence and you're already in flow. Maybe you're already like, hey, Shaleni, I've already done all these things. That's great. It's just remember, like, you're already enough. You don't have to like hustle harder to win at this. You just need to simplify, just be you, and that will amplify your visibility. So I would love to stay connected. That's what I have for you today. If you want to, please follow me on Instagram. I will definitely follow you back. And if you have any questions at all, I'm always here to help. And maybe I can try and answer some questions now if anybody had any. Okay, well, we'll just end it if nobody has any questions. But thank you so much for coming. And have a good rest of your day.